background into how we get to these top 10 trends. First of all, we conduct a different survey every month, mostly on the consumer side, but we also do talk to architects, designers, and master plan developers to see what's the latest and greatest going on. So we're looking at it from developers, we're talking to building products companies, we're talking to consumers. And so we've sort of boiled it down to what are the top 10 trends we think they're going to be relevant to your business. Let's start with trend number one, which is invisible kitchens. Kitchens used to be made for cooking meals, and that is what they were meant for. That is not what is happening anymore. So many other things happen in the kitchen. I have a whole kitchen report that we could dig into if we wanted to. Feel free to let me know if you want to do that. But what we're seeing is the rise of two different types of invisible kitchens. So the prep kitchen, which is what you're seeing here, just to walk through the graphic, the prep kitchen turns to the left and it has a sliding door. And within there, you see there's an oven, there's a sink, and there's also a window for light and ventilation. We're seeing this help with entertainment, hiding clutter, also masking some smells so that you can slide it in there and ventilate it. But it happens a lot when you're not just using your kitchen for cooking, now you're using it for eating and entertaining, and it's also attached to your living room. The rise of these prep kitchens are on the rise. The second way we're seeing invisible kitchens is through the streamlining of what's happening. This is the example from Line K at Willisford by KHAV. Cooking is still considered when doing kitchen design, but as I mentioned, there's so many other things that are happening. And with all the chaos that's happening around us, the kitchen sometimes just needs to be very clean looking, very minimalist, hide all the clutter behind all the doors. And a lot of times, as you're seeing here, the refrigerator's getting covered with panels. Sometimes the dishwashers are getting covered with panels, just as a way to make it more uniform and a little bit easier on the eyes. Trend two, speaking of storage, so storage in the kitchen is one thing, but we're also seeing it in bathrooms. We're seeing it being required in offices. Insufficient storage is the leading bathroom deal breaker. That's before no bathtub or no walk-in shower. Like storage in the bathroom is the number one deal breaker for multiple different lifestyles and different life stages. It was a consistent theme across all the different reports when we were looking into different rooms. So storage is actually something we're going to be digging into a little bit more in 2022. Trend three is an increased focus on health and wellness. Consumers are focused on their mental and physical health. In our latest survey, we showed that 76% of homebuyers are more focused on their physical health and 69% are more focused on their mental health. Builders and developers are responding by creating solutions in the home and in the community. At the end of the day, the one thing I want you to take away from this is that it's not just about highlighting the healthy products that were used to build the home or you build the community. It's really about how you're going to support the healthy homeowner. And within the home, that happens with getting restful sleep and finding easy to clean surfaces. Air filtration is still the number one healthy home feature that makes something a healthy home in the mindsets of consumers. And ease of clean was considered the most important thing for a perfect shower. So that gives you a little glimpse into what consumers are thinking about around health and wellness. Trend number four is an increased focus on lighting. It has seen a renewed interest in multiple rooms, but we're really seeing it be talked about in bathrooms and within the home office. I mean, we're all on Zoom today. I have 3 different lights so that you can see my face instead of the crazy mess that's behind me. But lighting is also the favorite bathroom feature for 20% of homeowners. There's a lot of interesting things that are coming on the market now, but think about lighting, not just day lighting, but also supplemental lighting that can help make a space better for a consumer. And number 5, this is coming directly from the mouths of our architects. 40% of architects are mixing and matching exterior materials more frequently than they were previously. So in 2019 or earlier, and 8% of them say they mix and match much more frequently. It's typically around 3 elevation types. That's the most 3 different elevation materials. That's the most popular. The second most popular was 2 different elevation materials being mixed and matched. We're also seeing that it's around 25%. So that's 1 in 4 architects say they used a new material last year. So in 2020, 25% of architects used a new material that they had never used before for their elevation design. And the number one reason was to achieve a certain look and feel, so the way that it looks on the outside. And the second reason was for greater durability. Let's move into trend 6, which is smart home tech. Within the smart home tech, this is a map we put together after looking at all the different pieces. We believe that smart tech is set to boom. Multiple of the key issues that are sort of red flags in the consumer mind, such as integration, security, and privacy, are being solved. So we believe we're just at the beginning. Todd Tomilak, who leads our building products team, had a beautiful analogy. He said smart product adoption is just starting to reach the next phase of the S curve. So if we compare this to mobile phones, think about where we were with Blackberries. That's where we are today. And then look at where we are with our iPhones. I mean, we all have tiny computers walking around in our pockets every day. So that's where we're set to go in the next few years. And then really one of the pieces, pain points we talked about earlier, was the whole home being integrated. So that is where we see the most adoption. Most people don't want it to solve really easy problems for them. So if I can get up and turn on the radio, that's a really easy problem to solve. But if I can have my water being detected in between my walls so that I can see that there's a leak that I don't know what's happening and I can see it earlier, that's really helpful. If I can detect air quality in my home and be alerted when it's not good enough, that is something that I cannot do myself. So it's not necessarily the little inconveniences anymore. It's really about, one, making it about the whole house being connected together, and two, solving issues that I can't solve for myself. Oh, this is a good one. So trend number 7, next level package delivery. We're seeing some really creative designs from multiple different architects. A lot of times we're seeing package lockers or giant mailboxes being used, but our architects are saying there's a better way to solve this. We can do this through really good design. Here you're seeing an entry courtyard. You're also seeing a dual layer vestibule, but there's a ton of different solutions. Sometimes it's courtyards, but when we talked to our architects, they said that 32% of them are designing package delivery and package security. Sometimes, and 17% say they incorporate package delivery in every single design that they do. All right. Did you really think I was going to get all the way through 10 trends without talking about work from home? So let me give you the highlights really quickly on work from home and what we're seeing really matters. One is office location. So when we ask consumers where they prefer their office, there were 2 that rose to the top no matter what the life stage was. Offices off the back of the house or upstairs, so places that are a little bit more private. If you think about home offices that we were seeing in 2016, 17, 18, 19, a lot of them were right at the front entrance of the home. Now we're seeing that consumers say, I want connection to the outdoor space. I want access to my yard or patio, but also if we could maybe put it on the back of the house so that I'm not necessarily exposed to the street, so I can't hear the garbage truck coming down the street every day. And then on the second piece to think about it is that it's not just in the home. So communities are also bringing these in. Sometimes it's a coffee shop with Wi-Fi in the community that's helping. Sometimes it's work zones that are sort of spaced throughout the community and some public spaces. And sometimes it's the example here with a community co-working space that's designated for residents only. So different things to think about. Here on the left, we're showing a home office. Typically you would see, just minor changes that are happening. You would see this desk being turned 90 degrees and another chair on the other side for the person who's never ever going to visit your home office. Now we're seeing people with very strategic window placements that allow the light to come in and help brighten up that space, and really thinking about it as somebody that's working from home. And then lastly, on the work from home front, is that these don't have to be really large offices. Really, the main things are getting light in the room so it doesn't feel like it's in a cave, and getting enough space to make it functional. But we're seeing by doing these smaller offices, it allows for this is an example, same house, 2 different offices in a townhouse configuration. So there's 2 different people could be working from home, or maybe you have children that need to have a study space and then you need to be working from home. So trying to make sure that we're using the space creatively and that we're making sure that it's functional for work from home. And number 9 is compact yards. We are still seeing that yards are staying around the same size, they're getting smaller. But the changes that we're seeing is that they're becoming much, more functional. There's increased hardscaping, more built-in features, more outdoor kitchens, a lot of conversation around entertainment. And our architects and designers are working really hard to make it more seamless to move from indoors to outdoors and make sure that there's layered spaces. So even if you want to be outdoors, but maybe it's raining or maybe it's too hot, that you can still use that outdoor space and get a connection with nature. What does this mean for building products companies? One thing to keep in mind is that we're seeing outdoor spaces with kitchens. We're seeing ADUs with kitchens. We're seeing these secondary or prep kitchens with kitchens. Michaela, who's the director of the New Home Trends Institute, calls it sink media, because every time we create another one of these spaces, we've got to put a sink in, we've got to put a stove in. And it's really helping. And we're starting to see a duplication of materials being used across different parts of the home. And then our last trend, build for rent. As Betsy said, we're probably going to talk about build for rent multiple times today. The thing that keeps coming up over and over again, people are always asking me, what's the difference in designing for a build for rent home and a traditional for sale home? The number one takeaway is that the products that go into the home have to be more durable, and making sure, like, when these builders are building it and these BFR developers are doing it, they want to make sure that the materials that are going in have a very long lifespan.